When people talk, listen, man, I'm going to raise that red flag.
This narrative, especially after 1 year.
1 year.
One bad year. It's one big splash move. And because I don't think people understand how much cap space we can create.
Alex, I want to ask you, because you're a very humble person.
And I'm never going to be right about anything.
Yeah.
I was right.
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? I hope you guys had a good day or night, or I don't even know when this is gonna come out, or when you're going to listen to it. So, whatever it is, I hope it's good. So today, I put out a tweet yesterday or the day before, I can't remember, that said basically, wow, the Commanders were the second worst team last year, and they rebuilt pretty quickly. And I got so much pushback by Panthers. It's basically just a sarcastic tweet, but it's true. It's the second year in a row that the second worst team has gone to the playoffs and won a playoff game, and I still got people telling me it takes a while to rebuild. Give it time. They've been putting these pieces together for a while, so it was only a matter of time. False. False. No, they have not. They've brought back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6, maybe 6 above average players. Brian Robinson's pretty average, but let's just say Brian Robinson's an above average player, right? They brought back Terry McLaurin, Darren Payne, Jonathan Allen, Andrew Wiley, Samuel Cosme, Brian Robinson, De'Ami Brown, Cornelius Lucas, which was their left tackle before they drafted Coleman in the 3rd round. They started a rookie left tackle, right? So they have Terry McLaurin, who's made a Pro Bowl this year, but prior had only made 1 Pro Bowl. Darren Payne, who this year had 42 combined tackles and only 20 solo tackles and 4 sacks. Jonathan Allen, who missed half the season. Andrew Wiley at right tackle, which Taylor Moton, I would say they're comparable. I probably would take Moton, but it's close. And Samuel Cosme, who's a fine guard. And Brian Robinson, who Chuba is significantly better than. They brought back De'Ami Brown, who's had 300 yards receiving last year. Jonathan Mingo had more yards receiving than De'Ami Brown last year. And this is the team that people are telling me they had a good core. They had 5 players return. 5. Oh, but they had $90 million in cap space. We outspent them by a mile in cap. Their only big cap moves: Dorrance Armstrong, 3-year, $33 million. Tyler Biadasz, 3-year, $30 million. Luvu, who we had, 3-year, $36 million. That's it. That's the only around $10 million contracts that they gave out. We had Hunt, 5-year, $100 million. Lewis, 4-year, $53 million. Jewell, 3-year, $19 million. Clowney, 2-year, $20 million. A'Shawn Robinson, 3-year, $22 million. Like, we gave those contracts out. They're doing it with Bobby Wagner, $6 million. Jeremy Chin, $4 million. Dante Fowler, $3 million. Austin Eckler, 2-year, $8 million. Zach Ertz, $3 million. Like, that's who they're doing it with. So stop telling me that they had this great core, because they didn't. They had 5 players. Their 2023 first-round pick, Emmanuel Forbes, gone. John Dotson, their 2022 first-round pick, gone. Jamin Davis, their 2021 first-round pick, gone. Their 2020 first-round pick, Chase Young, gone. Their 2019 first-round pick, Montez Sweat, gone. And their biggest signing was Frankie Luvu, who turned us down for 5 guys. They have, we brought back Bryce Young, Austin Corbett, Taylor Moton, Icky, Thielen, Chuba, Derek Brown, Shaq Thompson, Xavier Woods, J.C. Horn. They ain't got a corner that can touch J.C. Horn until they brought Lattimore in, who played 2 games. 2. Oh, well, Derek Brown got hurt. Their best defensive player, Jonathan Allen, got hurt. He missed 9 games. Darren Payne, who their defensive tackle is, their number 1 pick, defensive tackle, had 42 combined tackles. The defensive tackle we brought in, A'Shaun Robinson, had 43 combined tackles. He had 5.5 sacks to Darren Payne's 4 sacks. Like, look, let's just talk about the guys. Let's just put them up with each other, right? So Thielen had 1,014 yards last year and 4 touchdowns. Terry McLaurin had 1,002 yards and 4 touchdowns last year. And I'm not comparing the two, but McLaurin ain't young either. He's 29 years old. And he had 1,002 yards last year and 4 touchdowns. Thielen had 1,014 yards and 4 touchdowns. And if Thielen played the whole year, he's on pace for this same number. Their second best receiver was Noah Brown, who got hurt. So they got receivers getting hurt too. It's not just Thielen. We spent our first round pick on a wide receiver. They're rolling out Zacchaeus. Olamide Zacchaeus. I want to get his name right, but I'm really bad with names. That's their number 2, who is a journeyman. He's a league minimum player. Zach Ertz was out there. We could have got him for $3 million. Oh, but they had all this money. That's how they got all these. No, that's not. It's not. They got Bobby Wagner. Yeah, $6.5 million. We signed Josie Jewell for 3 years, $19 million. That comes out to $6.5 million a year. We paid the same amount of money as they did for Bobby Wagner. So they had McLaurin, we had Thielen, sure. But just go to their next receiver isn't even anywhere close to. We had Deontay Johnson for a few games. We had XL. We chose to go after guys like David Moore. And that's who we're using, who had a good year. They're throwing it to Olamide Zacchaeus and De'Ami Brown, who had like 300 yards last year. We had a chance to get Ertz, we wanted to, but we said no, we were going to draft a tight end because that's better for us. Zach Ertz had a really good year. We could have got him and drafted a receiver, a tight end. We had $3 million we could have given out. We could have given Austin Eckler a 2-year, $8 million contract instead of spending a second-round pick on a running back. Because you know what they use their second-round pick on? Johnny Newton. Defensive tackle. You know what we could have used? A defensive tackle. So yeah, eventually they got players that ended up outperforming their contract. That's what I'm talking about though. We should have gotten those players. Why didn't we get those players? Or maybe those players aren't very good, but they're getting coached up better. They did not have a core. They had 5 good players. They had 2 linemen that they brought back. Well, 3, but Lucas, he's just a guy. They drafted Coleman in the 3rd round, who was their starting left tackle. And they did exactly what we did, except for cheaper. They brought in a center. Oh, we could have used one of those for $10 million a year. And they brought in a guard and Nick Allegretti for 3 years, $16 million. They're paying him $5 million a year. Coached him up. We brought in 2 guards for $20 million a year and for $13 million a year. That's what we did. And everybody calls that like this big, great thing. And I like they're good players. Hunt is a Pro Bowl caliber player. But they spent up for those positions. The Commanders seem to have a decent offensive line, a good enough offensive line that they're going to the freaking NFC Championship game. Oh, but we had injuries. I already told you. Allen missed 9 games. Eckler missed 5 games. Farrell missed 3 games. Noah Brown missed 6 games. Wiley missed 3 games. Everybody has injuries. Everybody gets hurt. We had to stop making these freaking excuses for this team. I could not believe how many people came back and Well, that's what happens when you draft like a generational quarterback. You ain't seen Bryce play? Huh? You haven't seen Bryce play? They barely put any money into their defense. Like we had far more. I mean, we had Josie Jewell, 3-year, $19 million, Clowney, 2-year, $20 million, Wanham, 2-year, $12.5 million, Dane Jackson, 2-year, $9 million, Ashawn Robinson, 3-year, $22 million. They had Dorrance Armstrong, 3 years, $33 million, and Luvu, 3 years, $36 million. We outspent them by a mile on this free agency. But did you know that they had $90 million in cap space? Yeah, I did. We spent more. We spent more money. Like what? Like it's so hard to be a Panthers fan when people just excuse this team so much. They didn't have a corner. We had a Pro Bowl corner. I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. They don't have their previous 5 first-round picks. They're all gone. They brought back 5 players, spent no money in free agency, and are going to the NFC Championship game. Yes, you can turn around a team in a year. It is possible. They did it. They had 5 good players. Terry McLaurin is great. He had 1,096 yards this year. He had 94 more yards than he did last year. They were the second worst team in football last year. I mean, if you want to go one by one, I mean, I already did that with you. I'm trying to understand why we keep lying about this kind of stuff. And people will send me messages. I don't know why this is so hard to understand. Like, it takes multiple years. They had 5 good players. And they spent over $10 million a year on 3 of them. On 3 people in free agency. They didn't give anybody over $15 million a year. One of their guys their core that everybody says is great, missed half the season. Their offensive lineman is whatever. Brian Robinson, is he above average running back? Austin Eckler missed 5 games. No, Cliff Kingsbury just ran circles around Canales. And it's okay. It's okay that it happens because Kingsbury has been calling plays a lot longer. He understands the game a lot more. Canales can grow. But I need people to stop telling me that all these cliche things that aren't true. Look at the Lions. It took them, Dan Campbell got there and there were 3 wins the first year. And then they got to 9 wins. Yeah, they also gave away their quarterback the year before. They brought in a whole new quarterback. They had no receivers. Dan Campbell was a tight ends coach. And I'm not saying that I don't believe in this staff. I'm just saying that we gotta we can't just excuse every single thing. Can't just say, and can somebody just be informed about anything when they say something? Well, the core, they've been building this team since the 90s. What? Oh man, what are we doing? Oh goodness gracious! That's all I gotta say. This happens every single year. And I brought up the Chargers. I can't believe you brought up the Chargers. Why not? They lost Eckler, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. They got a second-year guy and a rookie. They brought, as receiver, they brought in J.K. Dobbins, who had 2 humongous injuries. Gus Edwards, both on league minimum contracts. and Kamani Vidal, who's a 6th-round pick. And they're taking that team to the playoffs. Like, they were the 5th worst team in the league last year. The Texans were the 2nd worst team the year before. And now they have 2 years in a row where they won a playoff game. The Rams were the 5th worst team the year before that. And now they've gone to the playoffs 2 years in a row. The Jags were the worst team then, too. They came back and won a playoff game. Dayball came in first year, took Daniel Jones to the playoffs, and then next 2 years, Daniel Jones got hurt, like, second game of the season, and this year it's just like they just blew it up. Kevin O'Connell came in, a 13-win team. Dolphins, terrible franchise. Mike McDaniels came in, playoffs. With Skylar, what's his last name? Skylar something, because Tua got hurt. Skylar Thompson, and then took the Bills 34-31 his first year. Yes, it can happen. Stop. We gotta stop. LaFleur came in, made the playoffs first year. No, we had Aaron. Like people just said, like, just gonna stop. They're just gonna try to pick points out. Stefanski came in. They went to the playoffs with Baker and won a playoff game. It's all over the league. It happens all the time. So we got to excuse. Well, we're still rebuilding. Well, we brought back 3 of our starting linemen, our quarterback, our best receiver, our best running back, our best defensive tackle, our best, probably not our best linebacker, but we had a chance to, we just couldn't close the deal. I mean, part of being a GM is, you got to close these players. You got to make them want to come here. We lost Shaq. I mean, we had Shaq. We brought back our best safety. We brought back our best corner. So we should just be doing, we should be the ones that just, filling in the spaces. But everything messed up. Outside of, I think Excel's going to be a good player. I think Coker's going to be a good player. But, the guys you brought in, got good tackles. Looks like Fuller is a bust. Dane Jackson will bust. Waddle wasn't healthy. Clowney didn't live up to his contract. We have A'Shaun Robinson, who's put up the same numbers as Darren Payne, who is the core of this Commanders team. So it is possible. We should be expecting to go to the playoffs every year, because you know what? The best teams in our conference go. They do that. Eagles were a 4-win team. They go to the playoffs next year. The Rams were a 4-win team. They go to the playoffs next year. Those people do it. So we need to be able to do it too. Or else we're never going to be better than those teams, which means we're never going to win the Super Bowl. And that should be what we want to do. We want to win the Super Bowl. So we got to have those as our standards, because that's what those teams do. All right, that's it. Be on the lookout. I'm going to do a podcast with John at One Carolina. If you're not subscribed to his show, you should be. And there'll be more about that too. So thanks for listening.